Hello children, welcome back to our science class. I hope you all done the assignment. Now we can check the assignment answers. Explain the importance of brain. So that was the first question. The brain controls all the functions performed by your body. It stores and recalls information. The brain receives information, interprets messages and sends instructions to the body's systems through the spinal cord and the nerves. Second question, which part of the brain controls our involuntary actions? Medulla oblongata controls our involuntary actions. So that was the assignment answers. Check it. If any mistake is there, correct it. So last class we studied about our nerve system. So our nerve system is mainly classified into three: brain, spinal cord and nerves. And last class we studied about the brain. Brain consists of three parts: cerebrum, cerebellum and medulla oblongata. Do you remember the another name for cerebellum? Yes, it is little brain. And which part of our brain controlling the involuntary actions? Medulla oblongata. So remember all these things, it is very important. Now we are moving to the next part of our nerve system, that is spinal cord. So spinal cord we already studied. Where we can see the spinal cord? In our backbone. So spinal cord is a thin bundle of nerves. It's a collection of nerves, but it is very thin. And it connects the brain with the other parts of the body. That is the function of spinal cord. The function of spinal cord is to connect the brain with the other parts of the body. And it is protected by the vertebral column. So we can see the spinal cord inside the vertebral column. And the vertebral column consists of many number of small bones, and that have a name. It is called vertebrae. Then we can check the position of the spinal cord. It starts from the medulla oblongata and continues down to the lower end of our backbone. So it is starting from medulla oblongata and continuously going and down to the lower end of the backbone. In the picture you can see the position. It is starting from medulla oblongata and continues down to the lower end of our backbone. Then what is the function or what is the duty of spinal cord? It is responsible for transmitting information to and from the brain to the rest of the body. So it is actually acting as a messenger or a carrier. So it will take all the messages from the body to the brain and also the messages from brain to other parts of the body. So this is about our spinal cord. Spinal cord is a thin bundle of nerves and it connects the brain with the other parts of the body. So it is protected by the vertebral column, and the location of the spinal cord is it is starting from the medulla oblongata and continues down to the lower end of the backbone. And it will, what is the duty? It will act as a messenger between the brain and the body. So next we can check nerves. So nerves are thread-like structures made up of neurons. It is made up of neurons. Neurons are actually, they have the main role in sending and receiving messages. So our entire body consists of neurons, and they transmit messages from all parts of the body to the brain. So what is the function of brain? The messages from all parts of the body, different parts of the body is carrying by nerves, and it will take all the messages to the brain. So nerves are the thread-like structures made up of neurons, and they transmit messages from all parts of the body to the brain. So the neurons, so these neurons are the basic unit of our nerve system. So now we can check more about the nerves. So the nerves are mainly classified into three: sensory nerves, motor nerves and mixed nerves. So we can check what are the functions of these nerves. So first one, sensory nerves. So from the name itself we can understand it is related to sense organs, sensory nerves. So it is mainly related to sense organs. So it is mainly carrying the messages from the sense organs to the brain. These nerves transmit signals from the sense organs to the brain for processing the transmitted information. So when we are seeing something, when we are tasting something, or when we are hearing some sound, at that time the sensory nerves are acting there. Hence, what we see with the eyes, smell with the nose, hear with the ears, etc. get recorded in the brain with the help of sensory nerves. And next is about motor nerves. So, from the name also we can understand it is related to motor actions. That means it is related to muscles. These nerves helps the brain to control our muscles. So, we already studied in the muscular system, muscles contract and relax for a particular body movement. So, when we are moving our body parts, the muscles related to that particular body part will contract and relax. Then only that body movement will happen. So, these nerves, motor nerves, actually giving commands to these muscles by sending messages from the brain. The brain sends signals through the motor nerves to instruct our muscles to expand or contract. So, through these nerves, through these motor nerves, brain is commanding the muscles whether they have to contract or whether they have to relax. And last one is mixed nerves. So, as the name implies, it is a mix of what say these nerves consist of both nerves, sensory nerves and motor nerves. So, it consists of two kinds of nerves, sensory nerves and motor nerves. So, we can check what is the function. These nerves comprise both sensory and motor nerves which carry messages to and from the brain to all parts of the body. So, these nerves, mixed nerves, it consists of sensory nerves and motor nerves. So, it will carry messages from all the parts of the body to the brain and also the messages from the brain to other body parts. So, we studied the types of nerves. There are three types: sensory nerves, motor nerves and mixed nerves. Sensory nerves related to sense organs, motor nerves gives messages to the muscles, and mixed nerves, it consists of sensory and motor nerves. Then next one is about reflex action. So, till now we studied that all the functions or all the working of the body is controlled by our brain, but only one type of action is there, it is controlled by the spinal cord, and that kind of actions are known as reflex action. So, we can check one example. So, suppose you have to think that you are walking. At that time, if you step on a sharp object, what you will suddenly do? You will take your leg back. So, who gave these instructions to you? Is anybody came to you and tell the instruction you have to take your leg back? One sharp object is there? No, nobody will come and say. So, actually that command is from our body itself. So, that is known as a reflex action. So, we can check how the reflex action is possible in our body. Another examples for reflex actions are if any sharp object or if any kind of object is coming towards our eyes, at that time suddenly we will close our eyes. Other example is that when we are touching a hot object, we don't know that it is a hot object. So, when we are touching that hot object, at that time itself we will take our hands back. So, that is also an example for a reflex action. So, now we can check actually what is behind the reflex actions. The automatic quick reaction is called reflex action or reflex reaction. Reflex action take place due to the messages sent by the spinal cord. So when such kind of things are happening, at that time the spinal cord is giving the messages. For example, when we step on a sharp object, sensory nerves on the skin send a messages to the spinal cord. So, at the same time, the spinal cord immediately send message to the motor nerves in the leg to pull our leg back. So, when we step on a sharp object, at that time the nerves in our skin in that particular part, that leg part will send a message to our spinal cord. So, at that time itself the spinal cord immediately send a return message that you have to take your legs back through the nerves. The spinal cord immediately sends a message to the motor nerves, then only our legs will move. Motor nerves in the legs to pull our leg back. So, that is the example for a reflex action. So, today we studied about nerve system, the part of nerve system, spinal cord and nerves. Spinal cord is a thin bundle of nerves and the location of the spinal cord is from the medulla oblongata to the lower end of our backbone. So, the main function of spinal cord is to act as a messenger between brain and the body parts. Then next is nerves. Nerves are the thread-like structures made up of neurons. They transmit messages from all parts of the body to the brain. The neurons are the basic unit of nerves system. Then types of nerves. There are three types of nerves: sensory nerves, motor nerves and mixed nerves. Sensory nerves, nerves related to sense organs, and motor nerves related to muscles, and mixed nerves consist of sensory nerves and motor nerves. Then we studied reflex action. The automatic quick reaction is known as reflex reaction, and it is controlled by the spinal cord. All the other functioning of the body is controlled by the brain, but the reflex action is only controlled by the spinal cord. Today's assignment: what is the function of the spinal cord? Second question: what are the different types of nerves and write their function? Then the last question: what is the basic unit of the nerve system? So you have to complete your answers in your notebook and read the lesson many times. Then only you can understand the new terms and difficult terms. I hope you all understood the lesson. We will see in the next class.